Boss Rush 740 Day 3. So we have a farmable-ish day today. There are no problems with artillery strike after the first boss, and we have Prince Malchezaar for the first boss. So this is the same first boss that we had on level 620 Day 3. So I had previous videos on that as well, so if you want to check those out, how we ran it the last time, we used Varden comps. So there were two different Varden comps that used one that used Arfus and Medivh, and the other one that just relied more on bouncing with Varden and Balinda. And then that run also had a Hoon as a later boss. So we don't have that restriction this time. We don't have to deal with the Hoon later, so we get to bring more artillery strikes, and we have a little more flexibility with our party slots. There was also a second video for that day that used a Baron Genn comp, but it wasn't very reliable, so you could try to do something similar to that Baron Genn comp if you really want to, and that previous video will cover that, but I'm not going to go back over that one today. The comps that I have here, though, one of them is basically the Maestus comp that I used in the previous video, but I've modified it slightly. So we're using Balinda and we're adding Arfus to add more consistency to the unfreeze turn, so we don't have those faster abilities that can cause problems for us. You do still have a little bit of RNG on turn 1 where you need your Balinda to not die with this comp, ideally. I've got another comp here where we're using Nemsy, and Nemsy's also a secondary win condition for the later bosses with the can't touch this equipment if you decide to keep her alive, or you can kill off all your non-artillery strike mercenaries if that's your preference. And this is just another way to get through the first turn. You can also use Medivh in the slot, similar to how we did it on 620, but that comp has some of its own RNG issues that I went into in that previous video. And then that's what this comp here is. I'm going to not cover this one, but this is the comp that we used on that previous day with the extra artillery strike added in, since we don't need to deal with the Ahoon this time. So I'm just going to go run with the BalindArfus comp and the Nemsy comp, and then this one is just here for reference. So let me just go through this comp real quick, just to show the equipment. So we've got Downward Dog, Arena Contender, Unstable Runes, Band of Frost, Scout Spyglass, and Gilnean Strength. So if you want to run that comp, it still works just like in that 620 video, and it does have problems with the RNG from the Malchezaar's Imps. But this one here is Balinda with Lesser Water Elemental, Bwonsamdi with Arena Contender, Arfus with Downward Dog, Band of Frost on Varden, Scout Spyglass, and Gilnean Strength. So let me hop into it with that one. So this comp, you just need your Balinda to not get killed by the red ad on turn 1. Any other outcome is fine. So if they swing at Bwonsamdi or Arfus, that's fine. If they hit the water elemental, that's fine too. So we're just going to freeze the green here, and we just hope that this red doesn't kill our Balinda. And he can either have a melee attack or a random target spell damage. So if this hits Balinda, we lose. You could try beating the fight. So here with Arfus, I just always swing on something that's going to get Arfus killed. But you could leave Arfus alive and hope to eat this attack. The problem is if Arfus doesn't die, then it doesn't slow them, and it causes problems later. So I just always swing with Arfus, and we just hope for the best. And I'm going to shoot the Frost Weakness at this guy because we've got a really high health anomaly here. And I want to just get one of them low first so we can maybe get an extra cold snap off of it. You could also put it on Malchezaar because he's the most difficult to deal with. So we just need Balinda to not die here. Okay, Balinda didn't die. Also, if this thing gets low enough attack anomaly and your water elemental is big enough, sometimes it survives that hit, which improves your odds there. So since we used Arfus, we don't have to do a sped up Varden snap this turn, although that is an option for some comps. If you don't run the Arfus, you can use the Master Tactician here on Rogers to speed up Cold Snap and freeze at 2 speed this turn. But with this comp, we just run out with the Frost team, Bwonsamdi. Okay, so here we just do a Cold Snap, And you don't want to attack this with your water elemental because you need to snap off of it. And I'm just going to save the water elemental because none of these guys have low enough attack for me to get a free hit. And we may want them later to freeze an extra unit. And this is going to spawn a Malchezaar's Imp. Oh, actually, now that I think about it, I should have swung there. Because I forgot the Malchezaar's Imp spawns, so you would just get the cold snap off of that. So you should swing there. Just hit the Infernal with your water elemental. You get the new Malchezaar's Imp, and then you snap off the Imp. So I missed an extra activation of my Band of Frost for no reason there. And then the rest of the run here, we just run out with this same team. Okay, so I'm gonna shoot at the green guy because he's low health. It's possible that trying to get one of these reds low first is better. Just depends on what anomalies you get. And we're gonna do a bounce here. You can also kind of take a risk by swinging with these to ramp your damage earlier. And then you just need to be able to land a cold snap later. This way allows you to get more freezes off instead and kind of drags the fight out. So it's up to you if you have the damage. It's possible that just swinging with those water elementals to get your damage ramp early and doing more damage early is the better choice. Or you can save them to get more ramp like this turn and in the future turns. So since this is acting at 4 speed, I have to attack it with something at 4 speed or faster so that it doesn't get this Legion random damage thing off and like kill my Balinda. So we don't have a bounce this turn. So I just need to shoot this with either my Binding Contract or my Balinda. I'm going to shoot it with Binding Contract. And then that will respawn it because Malchezaar is in play from the passive. So then we can swing with all 3 of these. And then we're going to do a flurry after that, because these are all just going to hit Malchezaar's Imps. And then I'm going to do a big Frost AoE afterwards. And then next turn we should be able to get a cold snap off. Okay, nice, all of our flurry shots hit the reds, which is great. They can just hit these imps instead, which is unfortunate. You just lose a lot of damage if that happens. Okay, so they're all acting slow, so I can just get a free cold snap here, but we can swing with these first, because those will just respawn the imps, and then we get the snap. And this snap is going to do an insane amount of damage, so Malchezaar's going to die. We'll get this Enforcer quite low. I could bounce, but I don't even have to, so I'm just going to wait on the bounce. And we'll shoot this at this guy. If this was acting at 4 speed, you would need to shoot it with your Balinda that turn to prevent the Blitzing Legion attack. Okay, and your party order shouldn't matter, so I'll just leave them where they're at. Okay, so this green is actually a little more annoying than the red, so I want to kill the green first. I'm just going to freeze this guy, and I'm just going to shoot this. I could Frostburn. I'm just going to shoot single target at that guy. And this attack summoning extra imps and stuff is why I don't like the green guy being around. His abilities are more annoying. You can deal with like everything that the red does as you're doing your cleanup here. And my goal here is to kill off everything except for my artillery strikes. So, in order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and kill off Bwonsamdi. And I don't care about this Void Consumer, so I'm going to swing here and freeze the green. And then I'm going to kill off Bwonsamdi. And we don't want to do anything with Varden, because it'll end up killing them. If you want to keep... So this team is actually very good at killing the second and third boss. And you could even fight the last boss as well. So if you wanted to, you could keep everyone alive and just hope that you hit artillery strike, and then maybe fight the bosses in between. Okay, so this one's going to swing at 4 speed and then die, so our water elemental can get through for free after that. Also, when Bwon died, he reset our Ice Lance here. So I can just Ice Lance this red. And then kill this guy. And we'll shoot at Balinda. So the red's frozen, and this guy dies to Balinda. And this ad will just die to whatever it hits. That damage actually didn't even matter because we're going to heal Balinda here when we cross-start our Varden. But that's fine. I could let this cast, or I can freeze it. Either way is fine. Okay, now we don't want to heal Balinda anymore, so you could also just not bring the healing equipment on Genn if that makes your cleanup easier here. That might be a good strategy for if you were to farm this run. And I guess I can do a Master Tactician. You could save the Master Tactician as well. We don't need to freeze because this is just a harmless summon. Okay, so this is not quite enough. I could transform again, kill Balinda, but I'm not really going to be able to do anything great with Rogers if I do that. So let me do it this way. We'll just get Balinda low this turn and do some damage here. Much. It's 229 if I swing with this and do that, so that's too much. So let me just shoot with a flame dart there. And then we'll freeze it. And this happens before. So if Balinda ends up dying here, that's fine. If she doesn't, we'll just kill her next turn. It just depended if that swung at Balinda or not. Okay, so that takes out Balinda, and then that will kill him. Okay, so I'm obviously just going for the hit artillery strike option here, but the third boss in particular is Yeti Hunter Ranel, which is very easy to beat with frost comps. He's extremely vulnerable to frost. Kodobane, though, is a little more problematic because the ads have arcane attacks, so you kind of have to freeze them to prevent their damage. And they can be pretty dangerous, and then there's some randomness on what the boss himself does, whether he uses the attack that punishes you for acting fast or acting slow on turn 1. So you could try fighting him with like Balinda Bwonsamdi stuff, but the fight isn't always the easiest, even though it's a Baron's boss. You could also try modifying the comp and bring like Holmes and do like the triple freeze if you didn't kill anyone. But personally, I prefer to just hit your artillery strike and not have to think about how you're going to fight these bosses. My Estes on the Discard was also talking about running this without trying to even hit artillery strike, where you could cut Genn from the comp and bring like Nemsy and just have like an alternate win condition with the can't touch this, or just beating it with like freeze mercenaries. which is an option as well if you want to fight everything else, but I prefer to just go with the artillery strike when artillery strike is an option. And we fought Yeti Hunter Ranel with these freeze variants fairly recently a few times, so you could try to... I'm not sure which day or which level it was on, but it was within the past couple weeks. So there are videos of us fighting Ranel, if you want to see how that could be done with the Frost comp. And some of the Frost treasures are really good for it too, like Band of Frost. Not Band, I keep calling it Band of Frost. It's the Frost Ritual treasure on Varden. And like Stonehearth Salvation is always really good on Balinda. But the next comp here is the Nemsy one. So we're using Lesser Water Elemental, Arena Contender, Fresh Peaches, Band of Frost, Scout Spyglass, and Gilnean Strength. So this one has an opener. It's kind of like a hybrid between what we did on that 620 day 3, where it runs both a Taunt Giver on turn 1 and also brings Balinda. So it's kind of like a middle ground comp. And it gives you an option to keep Nemsy alive if you wanted to run Can't Touch this as an alternate win condition. And you could also keep your Frostmarks alive if you so choose, and even Bwonsamdi. So this is a very similar opener. We just always freeze the green, we always bounce, and then you can either taunt your Bwonsamdi, which is the normal thing to do, or if you get your Water Elemental to survive this swing, and the red is attacking you, you could taunt your Water Elemental. The problem though is if this hits the Boggy, it won't freeze there, so that taunt on the Water Elemental might not be useful, and it is useful to have Bwon taunted for later in the fight. So I'm just going to taunt Bwon, and I want to put the weakness on Malchezaar this time, since we got a high health anomaly on the green as well on this run. I don't swing with Boggy, but we do want to kill Boggy off before we start getting Malchezaar's Imps in play. So, I think it's turn 3. I like to kill my Boggy off if it's still alive. But he killed it for me, so I don't even have to think about it now. Okay, so this comp does not run Arfus. So on turn 2, we have to do the speed thing with Rogers. So basically we just Master Tactician Varden, cast a Cold Snap, and that freezes them at 2 speed. So there's that, and then we bounce it to refresh those freezes. And this is going to summon a Malchezaar's Imp, so we can freeze with this to get an extra activation of the Band of Frost. Okay, and now we just run out the Frost team with Bwonsamdi, I believe, for the rest of the run until we're ready to do cleanup. And your positioning shouldn't really matter. So there's a small amount of RNG on the unfreeze turn, which is if Malchezaar casts the Fist of Jaraxxus and he was not slowed by Flurry on the previous turn, then it can cause some issues, but nothing that you shouldn't be able to handle. So here I get to do a free swing for some ramp because this guy has low enough attack, so I'm just going to swing into that guy with this Water Elemental. And we're going to do our third bounce and a flurry. And I'm going to save this guy for later. Okay, so this next turn, we're not going to have a bounce, so we're really hoping that Varden hits Malchezaar with at least one of the flurry shots. You could also put Rogers out here and do try to do another speed snap when these unfreeze. That's perfectly viable as well. Or at least I can't think of any reason why it wouldn't work. So since this guy's using the 10 speed and not the 4 speed, we don't have to shoot it with Balinda. So I'm going to shoot at Malchezaar with Balinda instead. And then we're just going to get some free Frost ramp here. And we're going to save Cold Snap for next turn, so we're just going to cast Flurry and put some more damage into Malchezaar. So the advantage of Bwonsamdi being taunted is here on this unfreeze turn. If our Flurry does not hit this red, then it'll have a 5-speed melee attack that can happen before Varden's Cold Snap. But since Bwon is taunted, it protects us from that outcome as well. But we did hit them with our Flurry, so they're both slowed here, and we don't have to worry about these attacks coming in. If this had not been hit by the Flurry, then that's where either having the Rogers come out in place of Balinda on this turn, or on the previous turn, would allow you to do another fast snap here, or you would just have to let this Fist of Jaraxxus hit you, which could potentially be fine. And even if you lose your Balinda, if you're trying to kill her off anyway, no big deal. You've already summoned a lot of water elementals by this point, so you've gotten lots of ramp. But in this case, our Cold Snap is going to take care of it. And since these Imps will resummon, we can get even more ramp here for the Cold Snap. And when you do this, it's actually best to do them in order from low health to high health, because the Imp, when it dies, will resummon a new Imp that attacks you. And if this is too low hit points, you might lose it before it gets the chance to freeze. So I usually go low health to high health with my attack order. And then we'll just do another Frost AoE. And we're going to refresh the freeze if these guys even survive. I've got so much Frost Ramp that she might, or they might even kill both of these this turn. I'm not sure. Or Balinda's AoE might be the one that finishes them off. Just depends on how much ramp we got there. Okay, so you can kind of bring out whoever here. And here's where you're going to want to make your decision of who you want to keep alive. You can still kill Nemsy off if you want to just go with artillery strikes. Or you can keep Nemsy alive for that alternate win condition. Do I even want to act with this? But yeah, I guess it's fine. They have enough hit points that it should be fine. I would rather kill the green, but it's going to be random. I could even kill Bwonsamdi now. Let's see, how much does this do? Right, I'm gonna shoot here. If these all hit the red, then we're not too happy about it, but it should be fine. We have lots of freezes anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Alright, so this is fine. So I'm just going to kill Bwonsamdi here, and we're going to freeze with Varden, and this will also... So, when Bwon dies, it will refresh the Ice Lance. So I could do something else this turn. Like, soften up my Balinda. I could do this. It's basically a free turn. This is extra animation time, though. You don't have to sit through. You could just go ahead and kill someone off this turn. We do get an extra free freeze this way. So I'm going to kill Bwon. We're going to use this, and we're just going to pass with Varden. And then we can freeze next turn and soften up Balinda some more. Okay, so I'm going to kill Nemsy and freeze again. And you could do something with Nemsy if you want or not. Either way. Guess I'll put some hit points on this higher health water elemental. I guess I'll bring out Rogers first so we don't heal our Balinda. Okay, so no freeze there, so I'm going to use this one, I guess. And we want to kill off our Varden. And I guess I can heal this. It shouldn't really matter though. I shouldn't need that extra freeze. Okay, so this one will die. So I should have probably been more cautious with the hit points and maybe not done that flurry with Varden when I had both of the red and the green out here, because now I have to choose if I want to freeze or let this thing hit me, and then it could hit my Rogers. It might just hit Balinda though, which would be preferred. But I'm just going to shoot at Balinda. This should be fine, because we got a low fel anomaly. If this was a high fel anomaly though, this could be problematic. Oh, this could still kill her. Oh, that's bad. Okay, well, that's unfortunate. So that's the reason to be more careful with the hit points. I'm just going to finish him off now, though, since there's no reason to... This is why I don't like leaving the green alive. There's no reason to try to like kill off Balinda now, though. So we just have to hope we hit artillery strike here. Alright, well, we missed. I could try to fight this with Stoneheart Salvation, but I'm not going to. Just hit your artillery strike and do your cleanup safer. I did. So that's going to do it for me for the video today. I just wanted to go over those comps. You could see how you could do the cleanup more efficiently, though. Just you have so much resources there at the end. I was just a little careless with the high amount of ramp that I had, and I dealt too much damage to that green. It was probably safer to just shoot an Ice Lance at the green and try to focus fire it down with Balinda's high single target damage, and then do the cleanup with the red ad as your final enemy. But yeah, a couple different options. There's also this Medivh one that was covered in the previous video. There's also the Genn one covered in the previous 620 video, so check those out. And good luck on your run.